Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well, and welcome back to the garage for a video where I'm going to be doing some titivations on my most favourite bike of all time, the BMW R1200 GS, peak GS as far as I'm concerned. Well, maybe the 1250 is peak GS, but I love this bike. I've had it for over 10 years now. It's a 2013 plate, but it's actually a 2014 model year. One or two things are starting to look a little bit tired, so I think it's time for a bit of a refresh. So the bike then is requiring a little bit of a spruce up, shall we say. A few things need sorting out. I have already sorted out one or two. It's first thing I've changed recently, and I've mentioned this before on the channel, but just for completeness I'll show you again, is this rubber pad on the fuel tank here. This was looking pretty worn, and I just bought a new one off of eBay. It was very cheap. It was about 15 quid or something. You literally pull the old one off, put that one back on again, and it's made that part of the bike look like new again, which was good because that was looking a bit tired. The other bits that look a bit tired, I've got one, two little bits of spots of rust coming on. The most significant part is the centre stand that I've actually taken off. I'll show you that in a minute. But there are one or two other spots as well. Let me show you those. First off, it's the crash bars here. Look, there's some, I don't know if you can see on the camera, there's some little bubbles of rust under the powder coating. It's a bit worse the other side, I'll show you that. And here we can see some of the powder coating has actually come off. And then also these additional spotlights that I've put on, which I've had on here for over 7 years now. They still work absolutely fine, but you can see here some of the paint has come off. There's a little bit of corrosion starting to show on the sort of, I guess this is aluminium cases, so I'm going to replace those as well. I've ordered some new ones of them, and I've ordered some new these SW Motec crash bars as well. Let me show you the other side. Here we go, look down here, it's a bit more marked. We can see how there's loads of rust has bubbled up on here. And that's obviously because all the crud just comes up off the bike onto this bit, and the same with this light as well. So those all need replacing. I think that's going to make a big difference to the aesthetics of the bike. And then I mentioned the worst part is the centre stand. Now, last time I had the bike into Nigel for an MOT, which was only a couple of days ago, I got him to take the centre stand off. Let me show you that. Right, here she is. Check this out for rust, absolutely covered in dirt and grime. And if you look at the feet of it and everything else here, absolutely, well, it's just one big rusty heap. And my original plan was I would take the stand off and leave it off because I thought I didn't really need it on the bike. It would save a little bit of weight. But having taken it off, actually, there's not a lot of weight in that. I'd say that's probably, I'm guessing, but it's definitely less than 2 kilograms, probably 1 kilogram, something like that. So not an awful lot of weight to be saved. And even with a shaft drive bike, occasionally you do need to use the centre stand. So for example, if you're washing or cleaning the wheels. So what I thought I'd do is refurb that centre stand and then put it back on again, together with the new crash bars and the new spotlights, and it should just make it look a little bit smarter. Right, sorry, I just realised I referred to my bike as her. That sometimes upsets some people, I know. I refer to all vehicles as her for some reason, but maybe I should get with the times and refer to my BMW as they. We'll go with that, shall we? Anyway, on to the first thing then, which is this centre stand and refurbing that. How are we going to do that? Well, let's face it, it can't be hard, can it? First off, I'm going to give it a damn good clean up. So I've gone to Halfords, and I bought myself a packet of, well, sort of emery sheet, basically, various stuff from, you know, coarse grit P60 all the way down to fairly fine P1200. I'm going to spend you know, an hour cleaning it up with the sandpaper. Then again went to Halfords, bought myself a tin of primer. Going to spray her up with some primer to make sure it's good for painting, and then some bog standard gloss paint as well. I only bought one tin. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I've never done any rattle canning of anything before, but I've seen plenty of people on YouTube doing it. How hard can it possibly be? So that's going to take probably a couple of days. I'm going to prepare it, spray it and let it dry, spray it, let it dry, that sort of thing. So this video is going to be a bit rambling over a period of a number of days. So sorry if the continuity is a bit odd. I seem to change my clothes, that sort of thing. Right, without further ado, I'm going to get on with cleaning up the stand. Right, you'll notice overalls on, this could get messy. I'm going to start then with the coarse sandpaper and give this a darn good rubbing down. Where's the coarse stuff? P60. Right, that looks like the most coarse. Must protect one's little hands. Right, obviously I'm not going to bore you with me sanding this down. I'll just do a little montage sped up music or something like that.
Thank you. problems which bother people enormously. Where at the moment, if I'm electing somebody to represent.
All right, so I spent the last hour probably rubbing down this centre stand. I've used the sandpaper you saw, I've used like Scotch-Brite pads, I've used wire wool, I've used mechanical means. Basically, I didn't mean to get it back to bare metal particularly, I just wanted to get rid of the loose paint, but it pretty much is back to bare metal. Anyway, it's as clean as I can be bothered to get it to. It's not going to be absolute showroom finish. I mean, if you want to do that, you go down to the finer grades of sandpaper and, you know, absolutely get every single spot off. But anyway, I've got it here, I've hung it up here on this bungee, and basically I'm now going to spray it with a coat of primer. So that's the next stage. Alright, there we go, very happy with that. First coat of primer on. That's probably going to be it for the day. Although that sort of goes dry in about 10 minutes to touch dry, I want to leave it kind of overnight before I do any actual painting on it, and I want to make sure I get the garage properly clear before I do that. So that's it for now. At the primer stage, next time we get on with the painting. Right, welcome back. It's the next day. I'm glad to say the side stand is drying, or has dried out nicely, ready for its top coat. Before we get onto that, exciting news, what turned up the post this morning, but those replacement spotlights. So these are the ones that I'd say I've had it installed for 7 years on the bike, and they're still going strong, just showing a little bit of corrosion. So I've got myself a pair of these brand new ones now. I'll put a link below to these. I got them from Amazon. They're less than 20 quid. They're absolutely brilliant. As I say, I've been using them for ages, and I expect these will last at least another 7 years plus on the bike. I've also got the BMW ones fitted on that the dealer fitted on. I think they were 400 quid plus fitting. As I say, these 20 quid, absolute winner. Anyway, glad I've got those. I'm just still waiting for the crash bars, but that'll be later on in the video. All right, for now though, what I'm going to do is get a coat or two of paint onto that side stand. So let's get on with that. Side stand, centre stand. Right, now as I mentioned earlier in the video, I've never rattle canned anything in my life. I'm chuffed how that's come out, so I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. I know to start with, you just do a very light coat, let that dry for half an hour or so, and then you can start to put other coats on. But I'm not sure what the overspray situation is. I think basically, by the time the spray gets to the floor, it's basically just dust. But just in case, I'll just put a bit of newspaper around about, just to be, best to be safe than sorry and all that, isn't it? Right, I think that'll do. Let's hope it's not famous last words. Right, wish me luck folks, and in case you're wondering, I do have the back door open there, and I have got the garage door cracked open as well for a bit of airflow. All right, I'll stick some sort of a mask on and we'll crack on. Right, very light spray to start with then, here we go. Right, I think that'll do for the first one. I'll leave that for half an hour to dry and then I'll give it another proper coat. Alrighty, first coat is dry to the touch, time to apply another one. Very much a temptation to get carried away, but we'll leave it there, leave that for another half an hour or so till it's dry to the touch again, and then I think one more coat, and then I think we're probably done. Right, time for one more, I reckon. Right, well, once again, temptation is to overdo it, but I think that's looking pretty good. Right, we'll leave that to dry for a good 24 hours and we'll take it from there. See you next time. Right, welcome back to the garage and the refurb of my trusty GS. A few things to catch up on. It's about a week since the last part of the video that we saw each other on. A few things to show you. First off, the centre stand has now dried out lovely. Look, here we go. Here she is, looking lovely in that black. Very pleased how that's turned out. Looking good considering how rusty it was. That's really good. And then the other thing in here from SW Motec are my new crash bars, which hopefully are a direct replacement for the rusty ones that we're going to replace on there. But anyway, what I'm going to do in this next part of the video is put the centre stand back on. The difficult bit with that is you've got those springs to deal with, so we'll see how that goes. Right, so just to appraise you with how this stand works and the spring situation, let me just move the camera down slightly. Right, I hope you can see this lot. So here's a centre stand that will basically go on the bike that way around in that orientation relative to how the bike is behind me. And then you've got these bits here, which house these springs. That basically goes over there, like that. And then these go on a similar bit on the bike. So the tricky bit is how do you extend those springs to make that happen, but we'll cover that off. And then you've got these bits here, these little, I don't know, little cylindrical bits, which I've cleaned up. They've got a circlip on one end, and basically they slide through those bits with the circlips to hold them on. There's a little flange at that end, and they stay in place there. So we'll put those on first so it's basically in position, then we'll worry about how we're going to extend those springs. I can think of a couple of ways of potentially doing it. If it all goes wrong, then I might have to get Nigel involved. Anyway, let's crack on. Right, so I'm down at the action end of the bike. I thought I'd just show you how it all works. So there's the stand in the orientation that's going to go on there. And these, can you see in there, there's a little eye just there. Don't know if you can see that, hope you can. That's where those go in. And those go in that way, like so. And then they're secured with these little circlips on the end. So that's the first thing, is to position the stand there. And then we're going to attempt to do the springs. But in fact, I think first we'll just hang the spring up on the top connector, so at least they're in the right position. So they're going to go on there. Don't know if you can see that. Okay, so that's going to eventually attach to the stand like that. But that's another load of pain in a minute. All right, let me get this put on first. All right, before I do anything though, I'm just going to give these eyes a little clean whilst the stand is off. Make sure there's no grit or anything in there, and then a little bit of grease. It's the only grease I've got, blue grease, whatever that means. Multi-purpose it says, isn't it? So that'd be fine. Pop a bit of that in there, just so we've got a little bit of lube, and I'll go and do the same on the other side. Okay, that's both sides greased up and cleaned. So let's now just try and get this in position. So that is going to go on there with the little doodah through both. A bit of wiggling required. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. These things are never as easy as they should be, are they? There we go. Come on. All right, actually I just tried sort of dry doing it as it were, and it does go through, so it's just a matter of aligning it properly, I think. So let's try again. Let's get the other side lined up. Let's just make sure actually first that one will go in. The other side has fallen out in doing so. Great. Maybe we get this side in first then. Jeez, this is not as easy as it looks. Right, that's that side through. Let's come around the other side again. Where the springs have already fallen off. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea after all to do that beforehand. Right, let's see if we can get this one back on. Come on, you devil. Come on. There we go. There, right. Next up, circlips back on, which is probably harder than it looks. Isn't everything? Got it. Right, that's that one. The other side I think is going to be a bit trickier. Right, and this is the reason why this one's going to be a bit trickier, because the brake pedal is right in the way. So let's see if we can somehow do this from below. Sorry, the camera's a bit in a funny position. Actually, that was fine. There we go, so that's that one on. So the stand is now there, as it should be, in the right position. Excellent. Just now, got to deal with the springs, which I know is going to be a whole new kettle of pain. Is that a thing? Kettle of fish? Bucket of pain? You know what I mean anyway. Let's see what we can do. Right, let me explain my approach here. I don't have any special spring pulling devices to extend the springs, and there are various ways that you can make the springs bigger so that you can fit them back onto something. One idea is to pull them a bit and then put a coin between each bit to sort of stretch them out, but that takes forever. There's 2 springs and they're pretty strong. What I've done is, well, I can't claim this is my own idea, I actually got this from somebody else on the internet, but I've lashed up a ratchet strap to the springs. The idea being you tighten the ratchet strap, it pulls the springs, and hopefully I can just put the little tab on the little bit on the stand and it all works. But anyway, let me see if I can explain that a bit better by bringing the camera a bit nearer. So here's a ratchet strap. Look, it's on my old crash bar, I don't care about scratching that. And then I've attached it to the metal plate there that has the springs on, and that has got, you see that, there's the little, for want of a better word, nipple that's got to go in that hole there. So I'm going to tighten it up, and hopefully I can then just push that in, then loosen the ratchet strap, take it off, and hey presto, we should be good. That's the idea anyway. It sounds simple, but these things never work first time, do they? So wish me luck. I don't want to get too close in case anything goes ping. Oh, it's so close though. Am I going to get the ratchet strap to go enough, is the question. Gosh, it's so close. Look at that. Can you see in there? Let's see if I can get the camera moved. Look, there's the little pin, and there's the hole that I'm trying to get to. It's about 3 mil out. Just another go with the ratchet, and I should be there. Come on. Oh, it's so close, it's so close. Oh, it's literally 0.5 millimetre in it. What if I can do? One more pull. Come on. So close. Come on, you bucket. Oh, let me show you how close that is. Can you see? I don't know if you can see on there. It's literally 0.5 millimetre away. It might even just do it with a bit of a wiggle. Come on, you beauty. There we go. Must be enough. Right. Got to be super careful here because it's the sort of thing that goes ping and kills your hands. Oh. If only I could squeeze that somehow. I think that would go in. Ah, oh, what a pain. Maybe even a little knock from the other side would do it. That is so close. Maybe a little encouragement with a mallet. Let's see what I'm hitting. Come on. Let me show you from this side. Right, I'll just show you from this side what I'm dealing with so you can see the problem. Can you see there? Just trying to get that little lug to go through that slot. Just needs a little bit of encouragement and then we're good. Right, it's getting hot in here. It's going to need a bit of brute force. Leave me to it. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes, let you know I'm getting on. And in fact, showing you from this side, look, you can see it's gone on there fine and we're attached nicely. So let's now just see if the centre stand works. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. All right, so this isn't easy because I've still got a dodgy shoulder as I record this, but centre stand down on the floor. Splendid. Seems to work a treat. And there we go, there's a be shiny new centre stand in situ. Really pleased with how that's come out, that's great. All right, so that's job one done. Next job is to address the crash bars and these lights. So I'll take these lights off, then I'll need to snip a couple of cable ties and then have a go at getting these bars off and putting the new ones on. So that's the next job.